I think it's really, really important to discuss how marriage really is beyond the romantic versions of amazing couples and the happy selfie snaps on Facebook. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about yesterday, which was Valentine's Day, and how I really failed at it and how my husband and I recovered from that experience. But before I do, I want to tell you who I am. My name is Janna Denton-Howes, and I am the creator of two programs, 30 Days to Wanting It More and the Marriage Mastery Club. I go by many titles: Husband Whisperer, Chief Libido Officer, and my most boring title is Marriage Coach. I need to find another way of saying that doesn't make people yawn or run away when I tell them. So I am not a huge fan of Valentine's Day. I just find it's really manufactured. There's just so much pressure and expectation around it. There's very clear defined things you're supposed to be doing, and I just don't think it really supports marriages or relationships all that much. It just makes people feel disappointed and their marriage isn't all that great, and so I'm not a huge fan of it. But my husband, bless his heart, loves to give me gifts. It's just one of his love languages, and he likes to do it. And so we weren't planning anything. And he calls me during the day, and just we usually talk maybe once a day normally. And he called me to say hi, and he was like, well, by the way, happy Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh yeah, you too. And he's like, I really wanted to get you some flowers, but I didn't want you to get upset about it. So it makes me sound like a terrible person. So I said, well, why don't you go ahead and buy me some flowers? I really like tulips. I don't like red roses. And in my mind, I was thinking carnations or those kind of flowers that they dye at the store. I much prefer potted plants and very natural, simple flowers. So I said, go ahead and buy me them, and I'll really, really enjoy them. And during that day, I happened to be at a store, and he really needed a new coffee mug. And so they had some on sale. And so I was like, well, why not just buy him a coffee mug? And I went ahead and did that. So he comes home, and it's at the end of the day, and I usually am the one who picks up the kids from school and does all that. And yesterday is a busy day. My daughter is in choir, and one of them's in drama. So it's a lot of driving around on Wednesdays. And I was in the kitchen, I was cleaning up. Our house was a mess, and so I was just feeling really frantic. And he comes home, and he puts flowers down on the counter, and they're a mix of carnations and flowers that I just hate. And so I'm doing the dishes, and I'm just feeling so grumpy. I don't know if it's just me, but I was just a horrible person to be around. But here he is. He bought me flowers. He's being super sweet. I'm doing dishes and grumbling, complaining about the house. And he's like, you go ahead, go take some time, go in your room, take care of your needs. I've got it from here. The kids and I will clean up. It's no big deal. But I was just so stuck on, I was scrubbing a pan too. Those are the worst when things have crusted on. Ugh, it's the worst. So he's like, just leave it go. But then I'm like, no, if I leave it, then I'll have to do it in the morning. And he got me flowers I hate. And I was in a miserable mood. And the thing is, when you're feeling emotions, the worst thing you can do is try to stuff them down and not feel them. So here I was as a marriage coach trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do in this moment? What would I tell a client to do? Number one, don't try not to be angry or frustrated, because it's not going to work. It's just going to make it worse. So feel the feelings. Okay, I don't want to hurt my husband's feelings, but at the same time, I was thinking, well, why don't I like those flowers? And I had this memory pop up of two really uncomfortable Valentine's days that I've had with previous boyfriends. I mean, granted, I got married at 17, and so I didn't have a lot of experience, but I had like little crushes and little things in elementary school and high school, and there was two in particular that felt so uncomfortable. They had both bought me like cheapy kind of something from like 7-Eleven, and I felt there was all this expectation, and we were kind of playing this like romantic part, but I was really just a kid and I didn't understand what my role was, and I just felt really like ew and icky and gross. And so I was like, well, that's something I can share with my husband. So I was all wet from doing dishes, and I just kind of was like, I'm having a hard day. And I turned to him, and he hugged me, and he's like, you know what? Come here and have a hard day with me. And I was like, I'm sorry. You're so sweet. He's like, don't say sorry. It's fine. You're okay to have emotions. And I was like, I don't like the flowers. I hate the flowers. And he's like, that's okay. You don't need to like the flowers. Just don't be mad at me. And so I told him that epiphany I had about the uncomfortable Valentine's days I had. And he just hugged me, and he's like, I accept all of you. I don't want you to change. And I just apologized for being so quirky and weird. And he said, like, it's okay. I love all of you, even that part. And so at that moment, I realized, well, I need to take care of myself here, because clearly I'm having a rough time. I have a partner who wants to be my hero and wants to protect and provide for me. And I'm just kind of grumbling around about what I don't like. And so I thought, I really need to get moving. I haven't been to the gym in a while. Actually, like months. I haven't done any sort of intentional exercise other than walking in a long time. And so I just was like, okay, this Valentine's Day, the way I'm going to turn it around is I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to find some pleasure in this miserable night that I'm having. I texted a friend. I told her how I was feeling. That felt good. And then I just put on my workout clothes, got my phone. I found a really great podcast that I wanted to listen to, and I got myself to the gym, and I worked out. I listened to this podcast. I came home. I had a wonderful long shower. My husband and I snuggled up in bed, watched The Office, which is our current show, and it became a wonderful moment of connection. So there are so many little nuggets of things that, morals of the stories that I want to share, but the biggest one is, well, there's too many to nail it down to the biggest one, but one of them is run to your husband or run to your wife when you're feeling upset and just be all of who you are with them. And that is a door that opens for them. You become a very open door when you are vulnerable with your spouse, rather than blaming and criticizing and shoving all of your anger towards them. So, hi guys, so great to see you on live. So I would like to invite you. So that was the first thing I learned. And then the second thing I learned is that pleasure and taking responsibility for your own needs and your own pleasure is so important in a marriage. I can't even stress it enough, because working on your marriage is really working on yourself. And so starting, if you're watching this, relatively when I put it out, starting on Monday, February 19th, I'm running a free pleasure challenge for women. It's going to be so much fun, and I hope you join us. We've got so many lovely ladies in there, and I love to just support you and give you some accountability to find pleasure in your everyday life and take care of yourself so that you can have an incredible marriage. So I'll pop that information down below wherever you're watching this, and I hope to see you there. Otherwise, have a great day, and just run to your spouse in all your moments, in your happy moments, in your sad moments, and even in your angry moments. Just be vulnerable about the pain you're protecting. Don't spread it on them. Okay, talk to you guys later.